picking up right where we left off with part 1. We're going to be entering Factory Zone 1. And we're going to be met with this character select screen. What you're going to want to do is go over twice and select Patrick. In this level, we will be introduced to Master Models, the game's main collectible and form of progression, as well as several new glitches and bits of tech. After skipping this first cutscene, you're just going to want to roll to the right for quite a while. Then here, it's actually important to jump on this red barrel, as that causes the enemies to not track you. Carefully make your way between all these gears and gaps as you get to this cutscene. And then after skipping the cutscene, you're going to want to quickly do a roll cancel downwards towards this platform, a roll cancel to the side to this platform, and one more roll cancel to skip that entire little puzzle section. This part right here is actually quite hard, so don't be too discouraged if you mess it up the first few times. And there's a checkpoint right here, so if you die you'll respawn there, which isn't too bad, but this platform will not be rotating, so you'll have to take a slightly different route. Now, as the text says, just hold on, quickly jump off, make your way over to this toolbox where you can do a little skip. Saves a little bit of walking. And now this is where a trick called Invader Skip will be performed. If you try to continue to the right now as Patrick, you'll encounter a pipe that only Gur can enter, but we're going to enter it with glitches. So turn around, jump on this invisible wall, and just walk down until the camera changes twice. Now make your way to the left until you are right here. Now carefully make your way up. If you go too far you will fall like this, but you can just climb back up and do it all over again. One roll upwards should be good enough. Then you're going to want to do a roll off the left side and then jump your way back. It can be a little bit tricky to tell if you got the trick, so I'll give you two things to look out for. Number one is right here. When you do the jump, you'll see a small lag spike. And the second thing is this sign. Before you jump off the edge, you will see this sign. And once you get back, you'll see that the sign is gone. That means the level is deloaded and you can continue with the trick. Return down to this point. Carefully head back to right here. If you aren't careful on your way back up, you can fall like this. If the sign doesn't reappear, all you have to do is go up and then continue on. But if the sign does reappear, you're going to have to deload the level again. And here is the optimal path to going up. Carefully jump over that gap. Now all you're going to have to do is continue on to the right until you get to the deloaded portion of the level, where you're going to want to jump into this wind. And once Patrick is settled at the top, you're going to want to hold right and do 2 quick jumps once you leave the wind. You'll know it worked if you hear that suctioning sound. If you do not hear the sound, unfortunately the best thing to do is to reset at that point. So make sure you get this trick down. Now we are in Gur's Master Model level as Patrick. All we're going to be doing really is clearing this level normally. You can do some roll cancels like right here to save a bit of time. But the main focus is just completing this level. If you do die, there are a couple checkpoints throughout the level, so it's not too big of a deal, but dying does lose time, of course. But just starting out, you don't have to be too overly careful. Just complete the level, and you should be all good. Now that we're done with Gur's Master Model level, we're going to be collecting our first Master Model, and we will be encountering our first Master Model chamber. These will be recurring throughout the rest of the game, and this is where we get our Master Models. The only enemies we'll actually be encountering in this chamber are blocks, which are the toughest enemies to defeat in the game, requiring 7 shots and a full melee, or pushing them off the edge. So just deal with them as quickly as you can, and we'll be done with our first Master Model chamber. This cutscene will play, you can skip it, ground pound this button, jump up the steps, and hit the other button to free the Master Model. Then just press B and jump down the pipe, and we have our first Master Model. Congratulations. From here, we're just going to be continuing over to the right. Right here, you're going to want to do a roll cancel off this edge into the pipe quickly. If you miss that, it's no big deal. And right here, we get a loading screen. Sometimes you don't get that. It loses about 1 second if you do get it. But right here is really going to be a showcase of your roll canceling skills. So carefully, as you see right here, if you're not too careful, you can fail. But do roll cancels off these edges, and you skip quite a lot of fighting. You have to defeat robots on each of those platforms. Now just continue to the right, careful not to die. These gaps you can fall in, like this, if you're not too careful, but you can kind of roll over them like that. Now right here, just do 1 bounce on the trampoline, then do 2 jumps, and we'll be on our next master model level. Jenny's. For this one, it's very simple. Just float up to the top, hold left, jump twice, hold back to the right, jump twice, land on the pipe, and then jump 2 more times, and you will enter it. Now for this level, you're going to want to be very careful of these lasers. Their hitboxes are very, very large. And if you shoot in the air, they'll actually stall you. It's called goose stalling. And that is a great way to prevent yourself from hitting the lasers. So just be very careful because the hitboxes are very, very large here. And we're already done with our second master model level, so we'll be collecting our second master model very soon. Once again, we have another chamber full of blocks. You're just going to want to try to deal with them as quickly as possible. And careful for these corners, they cannot fall off there. So they could get stuck, and then you'll have to shoot them or melee them. Again, these guys require 7 shots and a melee, a full melee attack. Or they'll just jump off the edge for you like that. That's always nice. But just defeat all the enemies. Careful for any of them hiding in the bottom corners. Then collect your master model. And just like that, we have our second master model. We'll be collecting 1 more in this part of the tutorial, and it'll be Patrick's master model. Leaving the chamber, right where we left off, you're just going to want to carefully make your way past these conveyor belts. Careful to not touch the boxes, as they will kill you instantly. Hit this button to raise up some platforms, and we'll be going through another 2. From this point, you're going to want to jump onto the trampoline, do 1 bounce, and then a double jump to skip rotating around that wheel. You can do rolls here to move a little bit faster if you get more comfortable with the game. You don't have to walk everywhere. You're going to want to break that cap. That'll allow you to get sucked up. Doing roll cancels and rolls. Then we'll be going through 1 more pipe, which will lead us to the end of Factory Zone 1, Part 1. As the level is actually broken up into 2 parts. There will be a cutscene coming up that indicates that we are in part 2. But of course we're going to be skipping that because we are speedrunners. So just go up here and we are done with Factory Zone 1 Part 1. As I said before, to skip that cutscene, make your way to the right. Go ahead and do a roll cancel here to skip that platform moving slowly. Then right here we have a little shortcut. It saves a little bit of time. You can go around the normal way if it's a little too difficult at first, but it is something you can get down, save a little bit of time on movement. Now I have some pretty easy platforming. These gears move on a cycle that are very easy to predict. Then right here you can cut this corner and take this ferry tube, or you can just continue on and just walk around. The ferry tube does save just a tiny bit of movement. Little optimizations like that are all throughout the game. But if they are a little bit difficult, you can just take the normal route 99% of the time. Then right here you're going to want to be very careful of these pushers, because typically they are a 1-hit kill. Sometimes you can survive it, but it's definitely not worth risking, so just play it a little bit safe. Same with these pushers. Now I will be completely honest, I'm not a very big fan of this part, as these pipes right here can kill you pretty easily with their big hitboxes. So the best strategy is to jump and bounce over that one, and then two jumps, 1 before you get to the higher pipe, and then 1 as you're passing through the higher pipe, like that. And you will always make it between these shorter pipes. Very safe. Sometimes you can get a little bit of a bounce glitch and run into the lower pipes, but it shouldn't be too big of a concern. And just like that, we are done with that master model level, and now on to the final chamber of this part of the tutorial. Now we have one more chamber. This one is actually a mix of blocks and Mr. Huggles. You see Mr. Huggles right there, walking off the edge. They take 3 shots, so deal with the blocks first, and then usually clean up the Mr. Huggles later. But thankfully several enemies jumped off the edge this time, so it was a very quick chamber. Now once you hit this button, you're going to want to actually switch to tack. That is very important. Right here. And then just continue as normal. That is going to be all for part 2. Be sure to look out for part 3, where we will be going over Tack Wrong Warp, also known as Tack Warp. I hope you found this helpful. Be sure to join Crow in part 3, where he'll be going over the game's most broken glitch. Thanks for watching.